The Florida Keys are a coral cay archipelago located on the southern coast of Florida, forming the southernmost portion of the continental United States. Beginning around 15 miles south of Miami, the Keys extend in a south-southwestern arc and then westward towards Key Largo. The islands lie along the Florida Strait, dividing the Atlantic Ocean and Gulf of Mexico. The Keys fall between about 23.5 degrees north and 25.5 degrees north.
The Keys make up a total land area of 137.3 square miles and 356 square kilometers, with the population in 2010 being around 73,000. The entirety of the Florida Keys system is protected as the Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary. The Keys have taken their present form as a result of drastic sea level changes associated with recent glacial movements and ice ages. Around 130,000 years ago, during the Sangamonian stage, sea levels were raised around 25 feet above the current sea level.
During this time, the populated coral reefs flourished in the shallow sea that covered most of southern Florida. However, as sea levels fell, coral began to die, and their skeletons were left behind. Because this is a depositional coast, sand and sediment has begun to fill in those gaps, and that's why we have the islands that are there today.
The Florida Keys are separated into the upper, middle, and lower Keys, containing over 1,000 islands.
The Keys lie on the edge of the continental shelf. These next two images show cross-sections of the upper Keys. The first depicts sea level change at different stages in geologic time, and clearly illustrates the water coverage of the Keys around 125,000 years ago. In these next images, notice the difference in landforms before the shelf drops off.
The Florida Keys are a tropical savanna. They mirror the climate of the Caribbean more so than mainland Florida. There are two seasons. First is the hot and wet season from June to October, with a dry season that follows from November to April. The lowest average temperature is 51 degrees Fahrenheit, with the highest being 92 degrees Fahrenheit. This region receives most of its rainfall during the June, July, August, and September months.
It is also during this time that the Keys receive most of their severe weather. Last fall, Hurricane Irma struck the Keys at a Category 4 strength with 130-mile-an-hour winds. The wave climate of the Keys is almost uniformly micro, with waves rarely reaching over 5 feet. However, while much of the upper Keys follow a semi-diurnal pattern, the lower Keys has a mixed semi-diurnal pattern. These waves are impacted by the northeastward direction of the Florida current moving to meet the Gulf Stream and are powered by the westerly winds. The circulation of water and sediment in the Florida Strait aided in the construction of these depositional Keys. While the Keys are made up of coral skeletons, there is still a thriving coral community just offshore. The Florida Reef Tract is the third largest living coral reef system in the world, stretching over 150 miles long and 4 miles wide. It is home to 45 species of stony corals, 35 octocorals, and over 70 different species of sea sponge. Roughly 2/3 of the reef tract is protected under parks or sanctuaries in the area. Because of this, diving and ecotourism are two of the main economic drivers for the Keys.
In the Florida Keys, there are red, white, and black mangroves. They can be found throughout the Keys, as well as the Everglades on the southern tip of mainland Florida. These fragile ecosystems provide important nursing and spawning grounds for fish, as well as protection for a variety of species. Established in 1999, Marathon is located in the northern portion of the Middle Keys. It has a total area of 9.6 miles, or 24.86 square kilometers, of which 8.6 square miles, or 22.27 square kilometers, are land, and 1 mile, or 1.61 square kilometers, is water. Its city limits extend 1,200 feet from land into the adjacent waters. Marathon sits on the inner shelf of the Middle Keys. Notice the difference in landforms when observing the cross-section of the Middle Keys. The islands of Marathon boast some of the best boating activities anywhere, including deep-sea fishing, red or flats fishing, as well as a local sandbar. In Marathon, the family can swim with the dolphins at the Dolphin Research Center, feed stingrays at the aquarium encounters, view sea turtles at the Turtle Hospital, or go back in time at the historic Pigeon Key Island. My article made a rapid assessment of damaged homes in the Florida Keys after Hurricane Irma. Irma made landfall in the Keys on September 10th in 2017. When looking at the damage, in particular Marathon Key, building type, size, and distance from the coast were the main variables that caused the large amount of destruction. Unfortunately, hurricanes pose a massive, unavoidable environmental threat to the entire ecosystem in the Florida Keys.
Key Largo is the northernmost key and the largest section in the Florida Keys, at 33 miles or 53 kilometers long. The highest elevation is at a slight ridge forming the spine of the island, which rises to a height of about 15 feet or 4.6 meters. Key Largo is comprised of a slippery gray limestone-based clay called marl. There are also no natural sand beaches on the island. Key Largo is also the self-proclaimed dive capital of the world. Every summer, lionfish derbies attract thousands of hunters to help eradicate the ocean pests. The Coral Restoration Foundation also has its home on Key Largo. It boasts 7 coral nurseries and thousands of transplants, making it an irresistible stop for ecotourists, divers, and volunteers. My peer-reviewed paper attempted to update the public on the dire situation that plagues coral reef health in the Florida Keys. Using photo archives and new maps, the scientists helped classify benthenic communities throughout the Key system.
And reporting live from Key West, Davis Ebbert!